Hello, this is Francophony. If you watched Pachinko, you would have seen kimchi and rice often. Today, we are going to talk about kimchi and rice, which have long been the staple food of Koreans. From fun facts about kimchi and rice to its history, let's find out. First, let's learn about kimchi. Kimchi has been loved by Koreans for a long time. In Pachinko, Sonja also didn't leave out kimchi when preparing the meal. Before marriage and after becoming a grandmother, her meals always included kimchi. If you come to Korea on a trip, kimchi will be served by default in almost all restaurants. Kimchi is a fermented food, mixing salted vegetable seasoning with salted seafood, garlic, red pepper powder, and so on. The types of kimchi vary greatly depending on the main ingredients. Basically, we use vegetables such as cabbage, white radish, green onion, and cucumber, or seafood such as squid and oysters. In fact, there are many kinds of kimchi. There is even a kimchi game. The game rules are simple. First, say the name of a vegetable. Second, Google kimchi made of what you said. And if Google tells you no results found, you win. It means that there are so many kinds of kimchi. Furthermore, Koreans make kimchi in large quantities at once. It's because in the past it was difficult to get fresh vegetables in winter. So we make kimchi to eat for a year in early winter. This custom is called kimjang. After kimjang, keeping kimchi from spoiling was an important issue. In the past, kimchi was kept in earthenware called onggi. Onggi has fine holes, so air is well ventilated and the contents do not decay easily. Besides kimchi, Koreans keep rice, water, alcohol, and various spices in onggi. Kimchi is kept in kimchi refrigerator nowadays. So many Korean families have two refrigerators, one for kimchi and one for the rest. Of course, many people buy kimchi these days without making. However, we can still easily find the kimchi refrigerator in many Korean homes.
Next, let's talk about rice. Rice is eaten in many countries, but as one of the important materials for pachinko. Like kimchi, rice is one of the things that young Sonja and aged Sonja share. Of course, the way it's cooked is changed. In the past, Sonja used gamasot. It is used to boil water or soup and cook rice. It acts like a pot. It's made of iron, so it's very heavy, and it is hung on the butumak, a kind of fireplace for heating and cooking. Aged Sonja uses an electric rice cooker. Pour an appropriate amount of rice and water, close the lid, press the desired cooking process button, and wait 20 to 30 minutes. This is all about how to make delicious rice. In addition, you can make not only rice but also bread or duck with an electric rice cooker. If you're interested in this, Google rice cooker baking. Rice has long been an important group in the diet of Koreans. However, it was also a scarce crop due to a lack of supply compared to the demand, especially during the Japanese colonial period. This is because of the Japan's plan to increase rice production. Do you remember the scene where Sonja's mother bought rice for her soon-to-be married daughter while avoiding the surveillance of the Japanese police? This scene shows the food situation of Koreans that has become difficult due to the plan. The background to the plan to increase rice production was the First World War and the Great Depression. Due to the First World War in Japan, the capitalism developed and prices rose significantly. However, wages did not rise proportionately. As a result, workers' real wages decreased. Also, in 1918, rice prices skyrocketed because the agricultural productivity did not meet the demand of the increased population. Also, in the 1920s, the depression continued for several years. Amid these unfavorable factors, Japan established a plan to increase rice production to supply low-cost food to its own country. The plan is to increase rice production in colonial Korea and supply to Japan at a low price. Japan turned non-farmland in Korea into farmland. They have established an irrigation association to create and manage irrigation facilities. They also improved the varieties of rice and increased the use of fertilizer. If focusing on this, it seems that the rice production has increased and the lives of Koreans have improved. However, as you can see in Pachinko, their lives have become rather difficult. This is because there were more shipments to Japan than increased production. As a result, the rice consumption of Koreans decreased rather. As rice became more scarce, Koreans imported grain from Manchuria to cover the shortage. In addition, the burden on farmers increased due to irrigation association dues and farmlands. So, most Korean farmers lost their farmland and became poor. It was only the Japanese and the Korean great landowner who were able to accumulate wealth during this period in Korea. There was such a history behind the scene where Sunja's mother cooked rice for her daughter. So far, we have explained the culture and history about the topic of kimchi and rice. They are indispensable for explaining the diet of Koreans. So I hope this video will help you understand Korea and Pachinko. We'll be back with the Squid Game for the next video. Thank you for watching.